Fantastic. Hello there, Master Hellish here, and welcome to an OpenTTD Spotlight video. Today we're going to be looking at the mod, the FIRS mod, or as I call it, the FIRS mod. In the FIRS mod, it adds industries and cargo types to the OpenTTD game, replacing the original industries. I've created this map that we can see in front of us today to demonstrate these industries and show you a little bit about it. And because I'm demonstrating that, I've added extra ones, so there's lots everywhere. First things first, what you want to do is go into the online content of OpenTTD and download the FIRS industry replacement set. This is the main core set. However, on its own, you will need some extra things. You will need road vehicles, trains, planes, and ships that can carry the new cargo types that the FIRS mod introduces into the game. For the purposes of this demonstration, the ones I've chosen is the OpenGFX plus road vehicles and the OpenGFX plus trains. There is a list on the website that tells you all the mods and stuff that you can use, and also you can look in the information within the mod itself. I will put a link to that information in the description of this video. So once you've got the main core FIRS industry replacement set and your vehicles, you're ready to go. So let's have a look at some of these industries. Well, first thing you might notice is they look a lot cooler than the standard industries. And most of them have some sort of animation, even if it's the tower. You can see you've got a windmill here. We've got pumps going up and down in an oil field. Some of them you may recognise as commodities that are in the standard game, like oil, but most of the ones are not. For example, there is a little farm over here, I think. Where's this little farm? There's the farm. There we go. And instead of just being a normal farm, it's an arable farm. And this farm supplies grain and beans instead of the kind of wheat and livestock of the standard game. There's loads of types of industries. There's a coffee estate, there's hotels, vineyards, there's another coffee estate, fishing harbours, there's sandbanks in the water too. There's things like stockyards and nitrate mines and all sorts. So it really does add a whole extra level to the game. And that's the first thing. It adds lots and lots of different new things, but it also does something else. So let's look at an example. Here we have a copper mine. This copper mine supplies certain amounts of copper. So let's build a new vehicle. We're going to just choose a random train. And what we need to do is we need to have be able to transport this copper ore. So if we look at this bulk wagon, we can see here listed it can be refitable to copper ore. Buy the vehicles for the wagon, and then we click the refit button, which is the two crates on the train, and we select copper ore. If you forget to do this, your train will likely just sit there and not actually do anything or load. Right, so we can tell it to go here and load up, and it needs to move its copper ore over here to this, the copper refinery. Now, if you don't know what material needs to go where, do not fear. Click on the place and look at the displayed chain, and you can see where everything needs to go. If you want to know where it goes once it goes from the copper refinery, you can see that it goes to a port, and you can click the port to find out what supplies a port and what port supplies it. So you can see what goes in and out of all the different industries. This is part of the basic OpenTTD, but when you add so many more commodities, like the FIRS mod does, it becomes really important, because it's difficult to keep track of. Now our copper train over here is filling up with copper ore, and pretty soon it will be on its way to the refinery. Once it's at the refinery, it will turn the copper ore into tons of copper. So that's what we want to do next. We want to get a copper train. So we're going to get a new vehicle, and we're going to find what transports copper, and a flatbed wagon is exactly what we need. So we're going to tell it to go here and then go to this port down here, and you can see that the port accepts copper, coffee and wool. So let's get that train on its way. But what did we forget? Oh no, we need to turn that train round because we didn't change its... No, get back in the depot, train. Back in the depot. There we go. because we didn't change it. We didn't change the refit. We need to make sure that we refit to the right thing. Let's see. We've got different types of goods, different types of farm supplies, engineering supplies and chemicals. But what we need is copper. Refit train and away it goes. There, now we're sorted. So we've got our copper ore going to the copper refinery, and then we've got copper going to the port. Let's see what the port produces. I love the way that all the different things, these different terminals, fishing harbours and ports have nice little graphics around the edge, and this is all brilliant, something brilliant that the FIRS mod has in it. So let's have a look at the supply chain on the port, and we can see that it outputs engineering supplies and goods. These goods can go to houses, and conveniently we have a line going over to this town over here called Hellish town. So let's supply them with those goods. We're going to get that new vehicle in there, and once again we're going to find well, there we are, there's a goods wagon. Perfect. So let's put that in there. Let's see, does it do goods? Yes, it does goods. Buy the vehicle, refit to goods, give it the orders, and away it goes over to the town. And when that place gets some copper in, it will do that now. So you've got all the different trains going backwards and forwards, and if we fast forward a little bit, you'll see it going along the supply chain. This mod really does open up the possibilities, and if you enjoy working with industries, it is fantastic for it. Not only that, but there's a new version out, and this is what prompted me to make this video today. Version 2 has been released, and now there are even more things in the mod than previously. If you were already aware of the FIRS mod, there are now new cargo types. There is copper, maize, there's nuts, manganese, phosphate, vehicles, pyrite ore. There's also a load of new graphics that have been done. The brewery's had a new flag put on it. There's builders' yards, chemical plants, coal mines, coffee estates. All have had new graphic updates, along with ironworks, steel mills, rubber plantations and vehicle factories as well. There's also some new industry types. The copper refinery which we're working on now, this one over here, is a brand new industry type in the new update, along with power plants, pyrite mines, supply yards, vineyards and all those other ones types too. I think there's a vineyard up here. There's a vineyard. There's a new one too. So if you enjoyed the mod previously, you're probably going to like it even more so now. And here is our train delivering goods, and he's going to make a bit of money for us as he drops all those goods at Hellish Town and unloads his load, getting us 14,000. Fantastic. So that's one main feature of the mod, is that it adds all these new industries and all these new commodities. But there's one more core feature which I really like, and it adds a new dynamic to the game, and this is the feedback. The feedback allows you to actually do more commodities, but in the opposite direction. Let's demonstrate that. So here at the port, we saw earlier that the port can take in coffee, copper and wool, and it produces goods. However, it can also produce engineering supplies, and these engineering supplies can be transported to primary industries, like this copper ore mine. You can see this copper ore mine is waiting to be processed with engineering supplies. If you supply a copper ore mine or any other primary industry with what it needs, you get enhanced production. So for example, in this copper ore mine, if you deliver 16 crates of supplies within 3 months, you get enhanced production and it produces more. And if you go for 80 crates, you get gung-ho production. So let's do that quickly. Let's pop in a station, say over here, link it up with this little line that we had in set quite nicely for us, and we're going to pop a train in, and that train is going to shift those engineering supplies for us. So we get our vehicle in, and what does engineering supplies? Well, if you're not sure, we can have a quick look through. No, that's, oh, here we go. The piece of goods wagon. Engineering supplies is in the list. Let's buy a load of them. One too many, let's get rid of that. Refit for engineering supplies and set it on its way from here to there. Now I'm not going to set this one on full load. I'm going to let it zip backwards and forwards, and the first time it visits it just registers the service, and as always, there we go. We are now producing goods and engineering supplies at the port. So now the train's coming back. You can see it's put in some engineering supplies. We can see it's got, you know, just over 40 crates of engineering supplies, and that is going to come down here to the copper ore mine, and it's going to dump it off. When it does that, you can see now it says enhanced in the current production, and now the enhanced production will give more production. We're now producing 360 tons of copper every month. Okay, so if we fast forward a little bit more, you can see that we might be able to deliver more. There, we've delivered enough crates and supplies within 3 months to go to gung-ho production. It's now producing 600 tons of copper ore every month. And this feedback loop is the second main feature of this mod, which I think makes it fantastic. So there we go. You've got the FIRS mod, which adds more industries and more commodities, and it also allows you to have this feedback section, which you can put things all over the place. I highly recommend it as a mod to try out. You just need to remember to download those extra vehicles mods so that you actually have something to move around. If you don't do that, you'll only have the standard vehicles and you won't be able to move the new commodities. There's been lots of other updates to the mod in the 2.0 release, so I encourage you to check out the link in the description, which will take you to the blog, and that will show you all the extra information we haven't quite covered here. Well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you for watching this spotlight video. If you've got any thoughts, ideas or questions about this mod, please pop them in there and I will attempt to answer them all. But enjoy your many industries, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.